What is going on, everybody? Welcome into the Candy Shop Fantasy Football Podcast, a part of the Fantasy Six Pack Audio Network. I'm your host, Dylan Clemens. Here with me, as they are every single Friday, are my two co-hosts, the Candy to this shop, the Mike and Ikes themselves, Mike LaPlante and Ike Bonnie. Fellas, how are you doing after that awesome, snowy Thursday night football game we had?
I would die for Jameis Winston, I think, if he was my quarterback.
You're
Other
just
than
ready
that,
to
it was
run through a
brutal.
brick wall for him, huh?
I would go through it.
I will follow him into World War III.
Hell yeah. Fuck yeah, dude. His speeches make no sense, but I'm all in.
He just sends it, man. He just goes whatever pops out of his head, and he just rattles.
Doesn't answer the question at all, just says what's on his mind.
Yeah.
That scramble to the end zone, and he jumped into the end zone and got blasted was awesome, man. That was like probably
what makes people want to play for you, man.
Yeah, no, that was
like, would Deshaun Watson be doing that? No. Probably not.
No.
So I just love that Jameis Winston is bringing hope to Cleveland again.
That pregame speech where he just smiled just so wildly.
Dude, he was talking about horses and random shit, and then talking about how he wants to play in the snow. It was.
I think he was foreshadowing that touchdown run. He just thought in his head, and he just smiled. He's like, "All right, this is my time."
Or like you said in our chat, maybe the MDMA hit finally, and it was like, "Whoa."
I could explain it. Could explain how he got up after that hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was definitely sweet. Good on the Browns organization and good on Kevin Stefanski, the coaching staff, like keeping it all together because that team is still out there fighting, man. And that was their third win of the season last night, I think, something like that. Yeah, so it was good to see. Jamie, what's going on, man? Good to see you. Albert, you as well. Yeah, guys, we're gonna dive into
right here. It's fun that they won, but disappointed the draft pick.
Jamie, that game was so cool though, so that's why it was in a snow globe. I absolutely loved it. But yeah,
do you really want Shedeur Sanders as your quarterback? That's what you're looking at.
No, but they'll take Travis Hunter as their wide receiver.
Yeah.
Is that really going to help when your quarterback's still Jameis Winston?
I mean, if he's going to play both sides of the field, hell yeah, that's going to help.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, for sure. But we're here to talk Game 12 week previews, guys, and you're here to give your sweet sour picks. But before we jump into it, I just want to remind everyone, please hit that like button. Please subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Hit that bell for notifications so you know when we go live. And then head on over to fantasy6pack.net/plans, become an all-access member. That's where you get access to our draft cheat sheets when there's fantasy draft in season, access to our F6P Discord where you get custom advice for your leagues and your DFS builds. And guys, it's just $9.99 a month, and you get in the Discord and you get talking DFS with Dave Eddy, Chris Robin, Keith Fleming. Those guys will win you your money pretty quick just by signing up. Once again, that's fantasy6pack.net/plans to become an all-access member. But guys, let's go ahead and let's jump right into our Week 12 game previews. And guys, it's kind of bye-mageddon here with 6 teams on bye. The Falcons,
Part 1,
Bills.
Part 2 comes in Week 14, unfortunately.
The Bengals,
we had another one that was pretty bad too earlier.
Saints, and the Jets, guys. So get Bijan Robinson out of your lineups, get Josh Allen out, Joe Burrow, etc. It's
a rough week for wide receivers. Yes. For wide receivers, plus the news of Devontae Smith going out, it's rough out in the streets this week.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, man. First game here we got on the slate is the Kansas City Chiefs taking on the Carolina Panthers. Chiefs favored by 10.5 here on the road. Game total of 42.5. I know we talk all the time about the Chiefs not ever blowing anybody out. The 10.5 line might not be big enough. I might take the Chiefs here against Carolina. They're pretty bad. You're not feeling it, Ike? You're shaking your head no?
No. Why would it doesn't seem like the Chiefs thing right now to be blowing out teams. I don't see them doing it this week either.
It just seems like their offense needs a little bit of a get-right game in this game.
If it's 10, whatever you said, 10.5?
10.5, yep.
I'm taking Panthers to cover that for sure.
Interesting.
Really,
Right on.
it is 10.5 for the Chiefs. That's interesting because the Lions are only like 8 or 7 against
seven, I think. Yeah.
and you would think they'd be favored a little bit more against the Colts than that after they just smashed Jaguars with that.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, what was it,
I'm taking the
13
Lions,
points.
man, in that game. Man, 7 points. I have no problem with that. They're trying to kill teams.
I would definitely think about. I mean, it'd be a good bet to say that the Panthers can stay in it. I mean, 10 points is a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
With
Chiefs
the way
are getting
Chiefs
back.
offense is, man, that could get you some money. So think about it.
Yeah, no
Think
Isaiah
about it.
Pacheco for the Chiefs still. No Miles Sanders here for the Panthers. Adam Thielen is questionable. I could let you dive right into it. You can take it wherever you want. Give me your sour or your sweet play. Who you love and who you hate in this matchup here.
Since Pacheco still isn't going to be ready to play, I'm still going Kareem Hunt. I last week was an outlier. Before that, he's been pretty solid, like a RB 1 or 2 pretty much every week. So I'm still going with him, especially in this game where they won't have to do much if everything goes right. But still, that's who I'm going with.
Right on. I don't got much pushback there for you.
Who'd you go with? I wasn't listening
here,
to
man?
you like most of the time. I wasn't listening to you. I'm serious. It refresh me. Who was it? That
Suck my balls. I said Kareem Hunt.
All right.
Go ahead, LeBlanc.
Okay, for the sour player, right?
No,
Or
for
the
sweet.
sweet
No.
player? Okay, I just wanted to make sure because
Yeah,
I
you
didn't
gotta
think
get
you had this.
get it together here a little bit, man.
Yeah, what are you
No,
doing
no,
over
no.
there? You
I'm doing
Nintendo?
You
behind
act
the
like
camera.
you're trying
Nintendo?
to. You act like you're trying to produce a show too, or something. I don't
Well,
get it.
that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing.
You're playing
That's why I
Nintendo. You
needed
could have at least asked us over there.
I'm sorry that I thought the host of the show would set me up for a layup and let me know what he said, but I guess I'm wrong.
My wife here
Thanks,
chime
Jimmy.
in. Like, what do you think about that?
Hell yeah.
Salty balls.
Are you gonna give us your play, Mike, before we lose our viewers?
I'm
here,
letting the
or
people
what's
talk.
going on
I'm
Yeah,
here?
what
letting
the fuck
the
you
people
doing,
talk.
man?
My sweet play this week is Kelsey, which could be a little stunning because last week he was horrendous. All right. This is what I noticed. For 7 straight weeks now, Kelsey has either finished as a tight end 5, and then the following week finished as in the double digits as far as tight ends, the best being tight end 10, which, tight ends isn't very good at all. Last week he was tight end 43. So this week, follow the, pattern. He's going to be a top 5 tight end again. And this is the perfect get right game. Like you were talking about earlier, Panthers are top 5 matchup against tight ends. And, last 3 weeks, Kelsey is the number 1 target in this offense, 32 targets. Next highest is Hopkins with 18. So I expect a full bounce back week from Kelsey this week.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, man. Who's your sour play?
It's Hubbard and Brooks. Now that we have the actual news that Hubbard is, in fact, 100% playing from Dave Canales.
I love that, Jamie. I love that.
See? I appreciate you, Jamie. But, last week, James Cook had the best running back performance against the Chiefs. He finished as RB7, which actually blew my mind. I think that's the first top 10 finish against
Probably because he scored 2 touchdowns.
Well, let me get to it here. That was the caveat. So he scored 2 touchdowns, and let me give you all of his other stats. 9 carries for 20 yards, 5 receptions for 7 yards. He had a total of 27 scrimmage yards on the day and got absolutely bailed out by those touchdowns. This is not a defense you play your running backs against. I know the process did not go well last week, but it was because he scored twice. The process was still right. If he doesn't score, it's not a sticky stat. You can't depend on it.
Yeah, no, that's totally fair. Ike, what you got?
I'd have to agree. I'm pretty sure I wasn't paying attention, to be honest, but I'm pretty sure he said Chuba Hubbard.
So, I figured it would be bounced back to me anyway. So like,
ouch.
I feel like this is where I should get mad, but
but yeah, it's Chuba Hubbard that you should be worried about for sure.
Yeah, no, I agree with you guys there.
With Brooks being involved too, they'll probably
just
eat into each other, and it's a tough matchup. It's hard to do.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see how much work Jonathan Brooks actually sees. That's what I'm going to be paying attention to most in this game.
Like,
next one,
I'm gonna
go ahead.
Just for example, this is like because we're kind of like underselling, Hubbard here because it is 6 bye weeks. Like there are some people that have to play Hubbard this week, and I get that.
Everyone's
6
probably
teams on.
playing him.
Yeah. Oh,
But
yeah.
it's one of the situations like this. I am so sure I do not want to play anybody from this backfield. I am willing to go as far as starting Javonte Williams in that crazy ass backfield with Sean Payton against a good matchup against the Raiders this week over Hubbard. I would rather take that risk. I think I would rather take that risk than going up against this Chiefs run defense. That's basically where I'm getting at. So go ahead, Dylan.
We got the Minnesota Vikings taking on the Chicago Bears. Vikings favored by 3.5 in the game total.
Albert, you cracked me up.
39.5. Yeah, I'm surprised it wasn't Mahomes myself, man. We got no Ryan Bates.
Dead horse.
Bears. DeAndre Swift is questionable here. Keenan Allen's questionable, but likely going to play. LaPlante, I'll kick it to you. Let you start here. Take it away with your sour or your sweet play, whatever you want to go with. You muted yourself for some reason.
You're going to talk or what?
That's a dollar in the jar.
We are in tip-top shape today. We really
absolutely mid-season form
stuff. Man,
we're
just 60 episodes into our podcast career, and
we
just can't figure it out.
We look like what Army's going to look like against Notre Dame.
Hey, Army's going to win that game, bro.
Oh, okay.
Mark it down now. I would bet money on Army winning that game. That's some good money right there.
Go put your money where your mouth is, man. You live 5 minutes away from the border.
Yeah, I do.
But LaPlante, give us your picks for the love of God.
I was, but then we got off topic like usual. So this kind of seems like a trap game to me, guys. I don't really want anybody from this. So I'm going to give you my sour player, and I'll give you my sweet pick, but it's not a very sweet pick here. My sour player is Sam Darnold. I think this is his pumpkin game.
I agree with that. I agree.
Yeah, I agree. You don't want
Jamie, it's comments like that I'm glad that Deshaun Watson is a Browns player.
Oh man, Sam Darnold is no longer in QB1 consideration for me. I don't think
not with this matchup.
You guys,
he did finish his QB1 last year, or last week.
Last year, huh?
But
yeah.
Last week. Shut up.
He was QB9 last week, but that's why I kind of like the matchup later for Tennessee. But this is the number one defense against QBs here. This will be Sam Darnold's full-blown pumpkin week. His worst week of the year was QB 27 finish, and then 2 weeks ago against Jacksonville was 21. So this is going to be another probably like 20-plus finish for Darnold, I think, which just leads me into, because I do believe the Vikings will win this game. So Aaron Jones is going to have to do most of the work. Probably Jefferson, he could break one, I'm hoping. I got him on my roster, so I'm really hoping he doesn't, dud. But Aaron Jones, and it's reluctant because his touches have decreased for 3 straight weeks. 25 touches to 19 to 16 last week. But I think he has the best floor in this gross type of trap game that I think is just going to be, ugly and not a lot of fantasy points scored here. Chicago's just the best place to attack them is on the ground. They're the 16th best matchup for running backs, which isn't even that great. It's right in the middle. You could say it's the 16th worst as well, but they're number 1 against QBs and number 2 against wide receivers. It's hard to pass the ball on them.
Aaron Jones murders the Bears too.
Yes,
I've seen it his whole career, so I would not be surprised if that's the case here. Also, maybe sprinkle in a little bit of a Cam Akers anytime touchdown if you're into betting, wagering. Why? You don't see it at all? All right.
No. I depends on what his odds are to score that touchdown. If it's
they're probably really nice. That's what I mean. Sprinkle like $1 on it, probably win.
Yeah. I mean, if it's $1, $5, go for it.
Yeah. Where are you going here, man? Who you didn't give either play? So your sour play was Darnold. Who's your sweet play?
I would go Aaron Jones too, but it's a little skeptical. I mean, he hasn't been great lately still, but like you said, he likes to beat up on the Bears, so it's something you have to keep in mind.
Yep. Has what we've seen from Jordan Addison recently, is that intriguing?
Not this week.
Is he do you think he's going to be started by most people this week because of the 6 teams on bye?
He shouldn't be started this week. I mean, there's a few players I would start over him, obviously, but moving forward, I think he's a solid wide receiver 3 flex option. This is not the right matchup for him to be starting him.
All right. Fair enough. I feel like one of the wide receivers is going to go off in this game, and I'm not sure which one it's going to be.
If I was a betting man, which I'm not very much, but I'm going Justin Jefferson, if anybody.
Yeah, totally fair there. Next game we got here, the Tennessee Titans taking on the Houston Texans, battle in the AFC South. Texans favored by 8.5, which seems a little high because Tennessee seems to like to muck some games up here, man, and keep them somewhat close for the most part. Gabe total 40.5. No Tajay Spears for the Titans this week. No Legere.
He was officially ruled out
as well. I have him out. Spears. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's at 0 for my fantasy team.
It's a concussion, so not ideal.
Mm-hmm.
But Ike, will let you start here. Who is your sweet? Who is your sour play in this Titans Texans matchup?
With Spears out, you can easily fire up Tony Pollard. I don't think he can win you the week, but I think he'll be fine enough to 12, 15 points, which is fine for an RB2 flex option. Joe Mixon probably is my sweet play. He seems to be the focal point of the offense. CJ Stroud's been struggling, so they're kind of relying more on Joe Mixon, so that's where I'm going to go.
Do you guys think, and Mike, unmute yourself here to answer this, do you think CJ Stroud is droppable in 12-team leagues now? Because I know he got Nico Collins back, but hear me out. How bad has that offensive line been, which has been the biggest problem for them in the passing game? Stroud has like 11 or 12 touchdowns this year or something like that, guys. We're in week 12. Isn't that wild?
I don't...
Like Mike might be able to pull this up quick. Like, when was the last time he finished as a QB1?
Probably not this year.
Week 1 or 2?
I'm looking.
No, he definitely did this year.
It was week 4. Week 4.
Is that his only top?
No, he's got 2. Week 1 and week 4. Indianapolis and Jacksonville.
Which at that point he had all of his weapons, like Stephon Diggs, Nico, Tank Dell, and all that. So,
would you rather have him or Bo Nix rest of the season?
I think I would rather have Stroud with Nico back because it's a huge difference having Nico Collins. He was the number 1 fantasy wide receiver before that injury. That's a huge. I know we're talking fantasy football, but that translates on the field. That means he must, leading the league in receiving yards. So, like, Nico Collins depended on. Stroud depended on Nico Collins, and I think that's like really the driving force here. But Bo Nix, man, he has a beautiful schedule down the stretch,
and he can actually run instead of CJ Stroud. So,
yeah,
it's really close. And like Justin Herbert or CJ Stroud rest of the season, it's probably Herbert, right?
It's Herbert for me because he's been. We'll talk about it later. He's been really good, but
Kirk Cousins, CJ Stroud rest of the season. It's probably
CJ Stroud because I feel like Kirk Cousins might get benched at some point.
Ooh,
but the thing
prediction
is
there. I like that. Where's the banner, LaPlante? We got that in there, I think. The spicy take banner.
Oh yeah, we have it in there somewhere.
But the
Spicy
Kirk Cousins maybe getting benched this season. I'm clipping that. I like it. Like, where you go, or LaPlante? What are you saying?
Well, so the thing is the Tennessee Titans have been more susceptible to the pass the last 2 weeks. Last week they were the 14th most fantasy points scored for wide receivers, and then the previous week was 18th. So no Snead again this week. I just see it. My sweet player here is Nico Collins, and this is why I'm an advocate for Stroud this week. Although last week he was third.
Dude, it's a tough defense, man.
Yeah, but they've been more susceptible without Snead. That's the point here. I get it. Mixon may have another 2-touchdown performance, but I see it being like a 50, 60-yard day, just like when he went up against the Lions, because their run defense is just as good. And if they can't run the ball, they're going to rely on passing the ball more. And that's how I kind of see this going. Last week, he was third on the depth chart behind two other wide receivers in snaps, Dell and Mechie, but he still was tied for the team high targets with Tank Dell with 7.
And he actually did get that 70-plus yard touchdown called back because of holding. I thought I was fucking with you at bowling, but it actually did happen.
good old DK Metcalf play right there. We might as well call it what's happened to him so many times. But yeah, so like this is just shows you how dependent Stroud is with Nico here. And if he's fully healthy and they're not going to be on a snap count, give me Nico Collins to the moon this week. And then I'm on the opposite end of the spectrum here, Ike, from you. Pollard is my sour pick here. This is the 5th toughest matchup for running backs last week. And
he's just going to get all the touches, though. That's the
I get it. Last week, this, against a tough defense, the second toughest defense in Minnesota for running backs, Pollard and Spears combined for 7.7 PPR points. So, it's just one of these situations where when they're playing these teams that can outgun them on offense, Pollard and Spears don't become really part of this offense anymore. Now, maybe Pollard gets saved by some dump-offs, but we got to see
what Spears out. Pollard should see 20-plus touches at least.
Yeah, there's a good chance. Like I said, I think they're going to be able to stay in this game as well. So, but I get the thought of Pollard. I would him where I can, but
I would probably start him over
J.K. Dobbins or no?
Who's J.K. play?
They play the Ravens.
Yeah, they got a tough matchup. I would rather play Pollard because Pollard.
I'd play Pollard because he's guaranteed, like I said, 15 to 20 touches.
It's
not many players can get that nowadays, man.
Both are tough matchups. Technically, the Ravens is a little tougher, but one is guaranteed a little bit more volume because J.K. Dobbins has Gus Edwards back, and we'll talk about that when we.
You can put him around the Swift range, like he should.
Dylan, you can. I under
touches.
You gotta stop. You gotta stop. Being so selfish and asking these questions only about your fantasy team. Because that's where these running backs keep coming from.
I just keep pulling those off. I just keep pulling those out of my noggin, man. I don't know what you're.
Off your team.
We're going to the next game.
Who's next? Brian Robinson.
Brian Robinson has to be started.
The Detroit Lions taking on the Indianapolis Colts. That's what's next. The Lions -7. Game total I have down as 40.5. I don't know if that's right. If anybody wants to fact check me, that seems a little bit low for a Lions game. Mike, we'll start with you, man. Give us your sweet play. And why is it probably going to be Jameson Williams?
And
Stop doing that.
Sam Laporta's back. All right, he's back. But here's the thing: I'm riding the wave while it's hot.
No. Sam Laporta. What are you doing,
dude? Sam Laporta hasn't even really been that involved in the offense.
Tussle.
When he's
know the Colts have given up the third most catches to tight ends, right?
Yes.
Okay. So that's right. That's
you do know the Lions aren't using the tight end pretty much at all this year, right?
Bullshit. They just used him last week.
He was injured last week, you moron.
He scored like 13 points. What the fuck are you talking about?
2 weeks ago. Laporta was out
2 weeks ago. Yeah, he was out last week. 2 weeks ago.
I have to check my notes, but still.
You don't have to check your notes. That's fact.
Laporta on the season through 9 games has 32 flipping targets. 32
flipping targets.
Is that good or no?
Jameson Williams in one last game has 41 targets.
Yeah, I don't care about that because the Colts can't stop the tight end.
24 receptions compared to 25. So Laporta is catching more of his targets, but the better targets are going to J-Mo. All right.
Can we just say both then? Because I think Sam Laporta is going to be good because the Colts can't stop a tight end to save their life.
If if the Lions smash and score 40 points here, JMO and Laporta can both thrive because Monty, Gibbs, and Amon-Ra are going to get there. So we're going to need a Jacksonville week like last week to get all of these players here involved.
Oh,
But
we
this is
definitely
why-
do. I'm starting Jared Goff in my league because I have to because of Burrow.
This is why I'm a believer in JMO. He has 3 touchdowns of 50-plus yards on the year, and he has a 37-yard touchdown catch in there as well. He only has 2 games on the year with 100-plus receiving yards, and in both of those games that he has had 100-plus receiving yards, he's a top 10 wide receiver. So I think he has his 3rd game of the year, and not only do I think it, God damn, I need it against Dylan.
Who's your sour play, man?
So, just so you know,
I can't. Go ahead.
All right.
Jameson Williams hasn't seen more than 6 targets since week 2. So he's literally a big play or bust the whole time. So if you want to risk that, go for it. I wouldn't. I'd rather have Sam Laporta. So
He's
fuck you,
He's a little.
No, Dylan, I gotta interrupt you. I'm sorry here because now I gotta interrupt Ike because I gotta correct his, misinformation. He had 6 targets last week.
I said more than 6, bitch.
Okay, so that's the thing.
We're gonna have to put explicit content on this one. Hey, you guys cursing.
I literally just gave you the caveat of he has 3+ receiving touchdowns of 50 yards and 1 of 37 yards. If he's getting
cool,
6
man.
5 to 6,
Sweet. That's awesome, man. He can catch a long ball. Cool. But on 5 targets, 6 targets, I'm not a.
He's like Deshaun Jackson.
I was muted. He muted
I
me.
muted you. I did because you're not letting me talk. Jameson Williams is getting 5 to 6 targets. I will accept that as a wide receiver 3 or a flex play when we have 6 teams on bye because it's not that bad of a matchup. It is a better team to run on than it is to pass with the Colts, but it's still a middle of the pack matchup.
I'm not saying he's bad. Just say Sam Laporta is the guy to play this week for the Lions. That's it. You can play Jameson. I don't care.
Who's your sour play?
I never gave mine. It's Jonathan Taylor, and it's you can't start your running back when his name is Jonathan Taylor. You obviously you have to, but temper your expectations here. Joe Mixon's the number 1 running back on the year, and they held Mixon to 50 yards rushing. So,
agree with that, Tyler. Like your sour play.
No, he
doesn't even have 6 targets in front of his back lot. Locked down.
Who's your sour play?
I was gonna say Anthony Richardson, which apparently the chat is
spicy.
Thrilled about.
Spicy. He's coming.
The only reason is, other than the Bears, the Lions have allowed the least amount of passing touchdowns to quarterbacks, so you gotta keep that in mind. Granted, Anthony Richardson is more of a running touchdown type of guy than passing. But still, the Lions' defense has actually been playing pretty well lately, so keep that in mind when you are.
They just lost Alex Anzalone. I don't know how that's going
to. That doesn't help, but
I'm not all the way back in. I'm not all the way back in on Anthony Richardson. If I'm being honest with you, the fantasy community I know is
interceptions, by the way. So.
What'd you say?
I mean, see, here's
Lions are second interceptions, and we know Anthony Richardson likes to throw those, so keep that in mind.
Our guy Kirby Joseph from the Illini,
and Brian Branch from the Alabama Crimson Tide.
Alabama.
What were you saying?
So you could throw on the Lions here, and believe it or not, last week was Anthony Richardson's best passing performance of the year. A season high 272 passing yards, and it's technically it's not a season high because in week 4 he threw 4 passes and completed 3 of them for a 75% completion rating, but he had a 66.7% completion rating out of 30 attempts last week. This is by far his best week against, I wouldn't say a terrible defense. The Jets' morale is just awful, but they have talent on the back end to where Anthony Richardson had one of his best career days. Man, if the pass rush can't get home for Detroit, I think Richardson has another solid day. But if the pass rush gets there, Richardson will have a tough one.
Unfortunately, you're wrong about the Lions' defense being bad because in the past,
against the
past 3 weeks, they are the second toughest matchup against quarterbacks. So,
I said against the pass on the year, they're the third best.
I just said against quarterbacks. They're the third toughest against quarterbacks.
We got a question here from Jason. Will you start AR-15, Caleb Williams, Tua Tagovailoa, or Will Levis? We moved on. AR-15, Caleb Williams, Tua, or Will Levis. I lean Tua myself.
I'd say Tua, I think.
Against the Patriots.
No, out of these options. No, Tua. Joe, where you want to chime in here? Tua sucks against the Patriots. Like, Tua has not finished as a QB1 against the Patriots in his career. All right, so if your options are this,
because it's the same Patriots team. Yeah, you're right.
I mean, Jesus. I'll get the stats.
I mean, you can give your opinion if you'd like to Jason here and tell.
You really want to play Caleb Williams or AR?
I'd rather play Anthony
over him
with these options, because here's the thing: all of these options probably get around 10 to 15 points. Probably Caleb, Tua, Will Levis. They probably got a safe floor of about 15. Anthony Richardson as the starting quarterback probably gets you around 10 points. Who's got the highest ceiling out of all four of these options? If he actually
has the highest ceiling, yes.
So
who has the lowest floor?
But it's
Anthony
not by
Richardson.
much.
Well,
it's
by a lot.
Well, Will Levis.
Dude can literally get knocked out right away.
Tua has finished as QB1 twice this year, all right, and has finished outside QB19 4 other times. All right, so he has just as much as a bottomless floor as anybody else in this category. So give me the guy who has the highest ceiling when the floors are all pretty relative.
In a good matchup against the Patriots?
It's
such a great matchup, man. That's fucking fantastic.
On the ground against the Patriots.
And Matthew Stafford just picked them apart last week, man. Am I missing something here?
I understand that, and that's only his second game that he's had where it was like that, where he's finished as a QB1.
I don't care about Matt Stafford. I'm talking about their defense. Defense isn't good, man. That's why I lean Tua here. But I get why you want to go Anthony Richardson. I'm just not on your side here. Another one from Jason. Would you start Ertz or Shoemaker? Already starting Eckler, the Commanders' defense, the Commanders' kicker.
Who might be out, actually?
It's Schoonmaker. He saw.
Oh, that's Zane.
I want to say Schoonmaker, but it feels like just waiver wire recency, hot name.
He saw 10 targets last week.
I understand that, man, but Ertz has been solid all season, too. What if Schoonmaker just goes back to doing nothing again? And that offense just stinks.
He doesn't want to start for Redskins. I get that.
That's the thing here. Give me Schoonmaker. That's the kind of the caveat here is you're starting that many other Commanders.
You would have to hope that Commanders just go bonkers, I guess. But nah, I'll go on Schoonmaker.
Yeah, Jamie's on my side here with a better shot at 10
Well, Ferguson's been ruled out. That's the thing.
Correct.
So, if Ferguson's ruled out, Schoonmaker won't be blocking.
Who's that quarterback, though, is the question for the
Cooper
Cowboys.
Rush. It was announced. Cooper Rush was announced.
Yep, Cooper Rush.
So the next
I like that more than.
We're going to ahead and go right into it. The New England Patriots taking on the Miami Dolphins. Dolphins -7 here. Game total of 40.5. Ike, I'll kick it to you. Who's your sweet play in this matchup?
Since the Dolphins are actually pretty good against quarterbacks and receivers, if the Patriots want to win this one, they're going to have to rely on Stevenson or Gibson. For me, I think Stevenson is the better play. I know he's inefficient as all hell, but he should be able to see some targets, maybe get in the red zone or something like that. But Dolphins are pretty tough against the pass, so you can't really go against that.
What do you got here, LaPlante?
Nothing. I was just doing a little research in here.
Give me your sweet play.
Yeah, my sweet plays Achan, and it's like it's coupled into that. Like I said about Tua, it's easier to run the ball against the Patriots. Plus, Achan is basically. I mean, you've said it before, Dylan. He's the new Mostert. He's got the new role. Mostert last year was getting 15 plus touches a game, getting the receptions, and getting the red zone work. Well, that's exactly what Achan's doing. He's getting.
Everybody knows to start Achan. Come on.
Shut up. It's a sweet play. We're not doing start sits. We're talking about who's going to explode in this matchup, and it's going to be Achan in this matchup. All right. So 10 touches within the 5-yard line. The next highest is Mostert. And then when you bump it out to even the 20-yard line, he's got 20 touches within the 20-yard line to Mostert's 14. So do you expect them to be in the red zone a lot this game, right? The Dolphins? Expect Achan to probably have 2 touchdowns is kind of what I'm expecting.
I actually expect this game to be just a shit show. But yes, I do. I agree. Achan should be probably the most scored, most fantasy points of the game.
Agreed here. Mike, go right into your sour play. Who you got?
Yeah, my sour play is Drake May. And there are people out there contemplating starting him with the bye weeks. I would look elsewhere. Second toughest matchup for QBs. He said 3 straight weeks as finishing better. He was QB 17 3 weeks ago, then 16, then 14. This week he's going to go in the opposite direction. He's probably going to finish outside the 20 for QBs.
I agree.
See, I like where Jamie's head's at. Achan 3 touchdown bet. Gimme.
Oh, you're fucked, Dylan.
3 touchdowns.
He's got 6 touchdowns on the year. 3 rushing.
Yeah, that's a little much.
Take it easy, guys.
At least 1 for sure.
Yeah, no, I think
I'll meet you in the middle with 2.
Yeah,
I'm all right. I'll pass on that, guys. The next game we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers taking on the New York Giants. Bucks minus 6.5 here. Game total of 41.5. Some big news out of the Giants camp here, releasing Daniel Jones after benching him earlier in the week in favor of Tommy DeVito, who was chosen in favor of Drew Lock, which was weird. And Drew Lock's not quite sure what happened there. But Drew, I'll let you know here live on this podcast, they did that to tank. They want to lose the rest of the season.
Yeah, make sure you're listening, Drew.
Yeah, they can't publicly come out and say that. I know he's a listener here, Ike. So he's
definitely. For sure.
He'll definitely get this. They did that because they're tanking the rest of the year. But Ike, we'll kick it to you. Who is your sweet play in this Bucks Giants matchup?
Oh, God. Can I say the Bucks defense? Is that okay?
Yes,
so
you can because that is mine. Yes, you can.
Okay, cool.
Go ahead.
Bucks defense and maybe the Bucks running backs, I guess, if you want to go there. I think Bucky Irving and Rashad White will be fine because they'll want to control the game. But I'm like LaPlante said, I'm going Bucks defense for sure on this one.
I love that you guys agreed with it there. LaPlante.
That is pretty interesting.
Just to put it into perspective, guys, I don't know if they're going to be out on the waiver wire anymore because we're not the first, people to be telling you this. But the Buccaneers have a primo lineup here going into the playoffs and helping you get into the playoffs. This week they get Tommy DeVito Tommy DeVito with the Giants. Next week's Bryce Young and the Panthers. Then Gardner Minshew and the Raiders. This one's a tough one with Herbert and the Chargers, so you'd have to find a substitute on week 15. But then they get Cooper Rush and the Cowboys, Bryce Young and the Panthers again, and then New Orleans Saints. For week 18. If you guys,
unfortunately, the defense is still struggling, but with that schedule, you could pass with that.
That's stream worthy. Those are all stream worthy, high end. Defense. Value plays. Right.
They're definitely not going to lose you a week with that type of schedule.
Agreed.
Yes. They're not going to get you a 0 or negative.
Yep. Mike, go right into your sour play here.
Man.
No, I did not, Jamie.
I don't want to say
either.
this.
I suck. LaPlante squeaked in, I guess, on the little bit of hair left on his head.
Last week
I
I
haven't
dropped
made the playoffs in the 4 years I've done, or 1 out of 4 the 4 years I've done it. So, yeah.
Guess who's on my team in Scott Fishbowl who helped me make it to the playoffs.
Tell me.
Jameson Williams.
Like that's the guy who won you So many.
So my
Just
sour
let it
pick
go
here,
so he stops talking about it.
my sour pick is all off vibes here. But Mike Evans is back, which means Cade Otton take a back seat. I no longer like Cade Otton is that guy who's a stream-worthy tight end, I think, here. And I really do believe that because Cade Otton was getting all the
Nice job,
high-value
Jamie.
targets. And Mike Evans, if I look on the year, I am curious what he has. He is, I want to say,
It's been very good.
no, he is 665 yards for another 1,000-yard season. And I think Baker is fully aware of this. And, this would be,
They're going to want to get him, man.
Yeah, it's either his 10th or 11th 1,000-yard season. So I just fully expect Mike Evans to be funneled the ball without Chris Godwin anymore.
Weren't you supposed to give me your sour play?
It was Cade Otton, but it's
I got you.
based on Mike Evans.
I'm with you. Yep.
It's because of Mike Evans.
I was going to say the Giants.
Like Mike Evans is a sweet play as well, but we were doing the defensive, bit.
You were gonna say the Giants defense, like, is that what you were
No, Giants offense. I don't think you should be starting anybody from that team. Malik Neighbors is questionable last I saw, I'm pretty sure. And Tyrone Tracy, they're gonna probably want to focus on him if Neighbors is out. So I would avoid most Giants this week, to be honest.
Would you? Because Tracy's he's going to get majority of the workload.
Oh yeah.
Would you rather have Tracy or Pollard?
Pollard.
Would you rather have Tracy or Hubbard against the Chiefs? I think I go Tracy.
Tracy. I go Tracy on that one.
Tracy's the only one basically you can start out of this offense, and he's a borderline flex play.
Yeah.
Kind of at this.
I would go Tracy over the Chiefs or whoever is playing the Chiefs. Yeah. Hubbard.
Right. Ike, who's your sour play? Or did you give it already?
I just did.
All right. So the next game, we got the Dallas Cowboys taking on the Washington Commanders. Jake Ferguson out for the Cowboys, we mentioned earlier. Marshawn Lattimore on the defensive side out for the Commanders here. I kicking it to you. Who is your sweet play for this Cowboys Commanders?
Brian Robinson. He's been good lately, even though he's been dealing with some injuries. Cowboys can't stop the run. This is an easy one for everybody to just smash Brian Robinson for sure.
Well, it's Robinson and it's Eckler.
Eckler too, for sure.
Yeah, and the thing is they are finally getting what they wanted out of Eckler here. The compliment to Brian Robinson. Last 3 weeks, he's gotten 15 targets to Robinson's 2. So, Robinson's really not involved in the pass game anymore, but it don't really matter. He's averaging 4.5 yards per carry, so he's still a good play. But it's just, one of these, bipocalypse weeks where you can get away with Austin Eckler here. And I would actually go, Austin Eckler over Tyrone Tracy if I had the option.
Oh, yeah. Eckler should be starting in your lineup every week right now. He's right now.
I don't know about every week, but this week for sure with the buys.
Dude's just getting targets like he always does, man. He's the top option in that offense with Jane Daniels' rib injury, it feels like.
Kingsbury came out and said that he's changed his play calling strategy up since the rib injury to Jaden Daniels. So maybe.
And you can tell with Austin Eckler's 9 targets or whatever last week.
They haven't wanted to throw downfield, and it's probably because Jaden has been struggling. He's been skipping throws, man. The ribs are definitely an issue here still. So yeah,
that's why I like Eckler for sure.
LaPlante was great on that one. I hear you. Who's your sour play, Ike? Who you got there?
Since we were just talking about him, Jane Daniels. In 3 of his last 5 games, he's been under 15 fantasy points. Granted, that's because of his rib injury. He does get a good matchup against the Cowboys, but I think there's other quarterbacks you can start over him. I would play Justin Herbert over him and a few others for sure.
He stopped running.
Yeah,
that's the big issue here. Yeah, and that hurts his fantasy value, man. It hurts his floor every week, especially like he said, when he's struggling throwing the football as well. I'll kick it to Mike here. Who's your sour play, man? You're muted.
No,
Stop
don't kick
muting
me.
yourself.
Well, you were a good co-host, and you gave me the go-ahead, that I was muted earlier, and you gave me the heads up, and then I just continued to talk and talk and talk
That's
and
weird.
talk. So
that doesn't
happen. I didn't even get the chance to say thank you. And then this time you just throw me under the bus. So thank you for that. My
Just
sweet
throwing out
play.
haymakers
I mean,
over
my sour play is a correlation to Ike's sour play. It's Terry McLaurin. Terry McLaurin was getting these, high value deep targets. Now with the injury to Jaden Daniels, Terry McLaurin is also taking a hit here. I mean, you're still starting him. Just temper your expectations. He's not that wide receiver one we were getting early in the season with Jaden
I think
Daniels.
he only saw like 2 targets last week.
Yeah, but he's one of those players where you could get 2 targets and still get a touchdown out of him.
That's what he did a couple weeks ago, man. In those couple weeks, the touchdown saved him, but yeah, it hasn't been.
That's where he's still wide receiver, low end wide receiver 2.
Since he torched the Bears, he's been a little bit more uninvolved in the offense here. Jumping into the afternoon games, guys, we got the Denver Broncos taking on the Las Vegas Raiders. Broncos favored by 6 points in this one with a game total of 41.5. Ike, we'll let you start here once again. Who is your sweet or sour play in this Broncos Raiders AFC West matchup?
I'm going to go sweet, and I feel like this is an easy one because this man is on a historic run that no tight end, even in not a rookie, is doing. But what Brock Bowers is doing is just insane. You have to start him every week. No matter the matchup or anything, he consistently sees 8+ targets every game. So what he's doing is unheard of from a rookie tight end. What he's doing is unheard of from just a normal tight end for normal season. So you got to start him every week, and he's A+.
He's tight end 1, man, the rest of the season.
For sure.
LaPlante, where are you going here?
I don't want to go anywhere with you. I am going Javonte Williams here. And this is, kind of what I was alluding to earlier, where I would be starting him over some other players here. This is just a good matchup. I get it. The thing is Javonte Williams just looked better when he got the opportunity over Estime. So I believe Sean Payton is not an idiot. He's an NFL coach. I mean, maybe he's poor management of time sometimes, just like Mike Tomlin was for Thursday night. But I do believe he's going to do the right thing, and he's going to play the better player, which is Javonte Williams. So this is a good matchup here. It's just one of those things where I'd rather take the risk here in this good matchup against the Raiders, who's the 7th best matchup for running backs. Because even if it is maybe a split backfield, maybe we get, even something different, and it's neither of them get the dominating touches, and it's a backfield by committee. This is a good enough matchup to where Estime and Javonte Williams could probably both thrive.
Bucky or Javonte?
Oh, Bucky.
Man, how much?
That's what I think too.
Like Bucky is safer, but I think Javonte Williams just has a higher ceiling this week because they're not going to need Bucky this week against the Giants, where Denver Broncos, Bo Nix is hot. I'm curious though if he kind of is looking ahead though.
Like hot or hot?
Oh, he's hot, like hot. Like Zach Wilson is
fucking
jealous.
hot.
So like I just feel like Bo Nix might have a little bit of a trap game in here. I do like him. I like him, but I am a little bit worried. There is a rookie wall that I feel like he's yet to hit. We knew Jaden Daniels would hit it. We've already seen Caleb Williams hit it. So I don't think it's going to happen this week, but that's always just a thought in my head with Bo Nix right now.
He already had it happen, man, when he had minus passing yards at halftime.
It was against
Me and Dylan were laughing the whole time.
Yeah, Alec was sitting next to me on the couch.
Go ahead. Go ahead, guys.
All right. Just give me your sour play.
I mean, you're going to diss on me because it's the Mahomes take I always have, but it's, the wide receiver who goes up against Surtain. I mean, you can't sit him because he's going to get volume here, but remember how I was contemplating Drake London and telling people to sit him last week, even though he plays in the slot, JB? Still finishes wide receiver 47 last week.
He had 9
So-
fantasy points, man. It's fine.
Wide receiver 47. This is Drake London we're talking about. So
Hey, all
this
you
is
need
what
is 9 points.
you temper your expectations when you're starting the number 1 wide receiver against the Denver Broncos and Patrick Surtain.
Can you say his fucking name?
Who?
Who your star play is?
Jacoby Myers.
Okay,
But
there
you
we
can-
go.
But
You're
you
talking
can
all
you,
this shit and you're
but-
not
but here's-
mentioning the name.
Ike,
Everybody knows
Ike,
it's
tell
Jacoby.
me one other wide receiver from this Raiders team that you're starting outside of Jacoby Myers.
Brock Bowers counts as a receiver for me.
I said no. I said wide receiver.
He counts as a wide receiver. He plays in the slot.
Answer the damn question and stop playing dumb.
Nobody.
Who's your sour play?
Exactly.
It was Jacoby Myers as well.
People knew who I was talking about. He's
got the
receiver you're starting
Surtain
out.
coverage more than likely. Hopefully, if the Raiders were smart, they'll move Jacoby Myers around. But more than likely, it's just going to be Bowers' day.
Yeah, James
Yes.
out on Myers as well.
You
Next game
attack
we
the
got here.
Broncos against with the tight end, and that's why I agree with Ike on a sweet pick with Bowers too.
The San Francisco 49ers going to Lambeau Field to take on the Green Bay Packers. Packers -3 here. The game total of 46.5. No Brock Purdy in this one, which is surprising, I guess. But
A little bit.
Brandon Allen going to be quarterbacking the 49ers here. Got a multitude of
Sweet.
weapons, so it'll be interesting. It's a good let's see, man. We've seen Kyle Shanahan do weirder stuff here, so maybe he'll be fine. But Ike will let you start once again. Who is your sweet or sour play in this 49ers Packers matchup?
I'm going to go with my sour pick. I'm going to go 49ers offense, barring Christian McCaffrey and maybe George Kittle. If this offense does anything with Brandon Allen, those two will be the ones that succeed. They should be started, but don't expect anything spectacular.
Yeah, anybody could tell you that it's going to be a down tick for this offense from Brock Purdy because
Like
just what
Juwan
Brock is
Jennings,
doing with his legs.
Man,
too.
I don't know if you can start him now.
I don't know,
with
man.
that.
He's a big part of the offense now. Kind of Joe.
He
has
gets a lot of the
mentioned
targets, but with
he
Brandon
just slid
Allen,
right in.
I don't know.
He just slid right into the Ayuk role. The role
He did. That's what it is.
and he's
What he
been
did.
super good. So it's really hard to sit those guys.
I'd like
but
to
I'm
see
kinda
what
with you.
Brandon Allen
I
can do,
have
though.
to. Yeah, hopefully he's fine. Hopefully the Niners don't lose that much with him because of the system. The system's super good. So we'll see. LaPlante, where you got here? Who you got?
So my sweet pick is Josh Jacobs. But all right, so Josh Jacobs past 3 weeks.
That's what I
has been a
did
top-
too.
He's a top 5 running back 2 out of the last 3 weeks, and then he's, if you want to say
15
close
plus
to our-
points in 4 of last 6 too. So
I mean, yeah, we're talking 20 plus games too.
yeah, in three of those, 20 plus points. Yeah, so
I feel like Josh Jacobs is warming up for this offense. He's just getting too much volume, but I'm also going to give you a little caveat because I need it. I'm going to manifest it into this damn world. Come on, Christian Watson against.
you're muted, bro.
You knew I was where I was going, huh?
I'm
Christian
tired
Watson,
of this turd
come on.
tonight, man.
I need Christian Watson. All right, he just had honestly a career game last week. I don't need that against Dylan, but come on, he's got 17 targets the past 3 weeks. That's startable. You know what I mean? It's flex to wide receiver 3 startable. With
I'd rather rely on myself to play wide receiver over Christian Watson.
Christian
The
Watson
Slim
or Jacoby
Reaper,
Myers.
Man, I've seen it too.
Christian Watson.
Jacoby
Christian
Myers
Watson.
will see way more targets.
9 times out of 10.
I don't care. He's finishing as wide receiver 40 or worse when you're
Jacoby will see at least 8 to 10 targets. Christian Watson will see 4, and he has to hope for a deep pass to be relevant.
But that's the thing. He's getting all the deep passes lately.
That's fine. He just can't catch.
No. Okay, you're just a hater because you guys lost last week. You didn't see the catches.
We shouldn't have lost. If you tell me we should have lost, I will walk to your house right now.
I didn't say you should have lost, but you're just being a hater and still, sour about it, and you can't just be non-biased.
Go kick rocks.
That's what I'm getting at. I'm going off vibes, and I want Christian Watson to have a good week. Like I said,
that's the only reason you want him to be good, because you want to be.
No, shut up. The thing is there's 6 teams on bye. There's injuries. He's a flex to wide receiver 3 worthy option this week.
Who's your sour play? Romeo Dobbs?
It has to because he wants you to lose.
He needs me to lose.
No, it's Deebo Samuel. Deebo Samuel's my sour play. He's been rough as of lately. His whole thing is he runs after the catch, and the thing is he's just not running after the catch. Plus, you get this QB change, like you alluded to in your sour pick. But yeah, it's Deebo Samuel. I'm a little hesitant on Juwan Jennings this week. Like I have a personal lineup where I had Juwan Jennings in the flex, and like with this news of Brandon Allen starting, I actually put Jameson Williams in my flex instead. Just because like I know Juwan's going to be safer probably, but I just want a little bit more of a ceiling with J-Mo because I don't think Juwan and that offense, like if anybody's going to have a good week, it's CMC.
Agreed.
Absolutely.
Or Kittle.
Guys.
I'm hesitant on Kittle, man. I don't know. I just like that's like you're telling me I'm a shithead and whatnot because I keep doing that. Like I'm scared about Kittle this week because it was Brock Purdy that was the reason that Kittle was thriving. He was giving him the red zone looks. Like I fully expect Shanahan to go run heavy. All right.
The new quarterback's best friend is a tight end, so.
Yes, but they're most new quarterbacks don't have Christian McCaffrey at their side.
True that.
So he's going to be his best friend as much. So like that's what I'm worried about. Like this is going to be a CMC. Just give it to him week, and I just hope he stays healthy.
See that. I get it.
Work Jordan Mason in too. If the Niners want to win this game, they're gonna have to do it on the ground. They're gonna have to do it on the back of Christian McCaffrey. Like they're without Nick Bosa too. Their defense is banged up. Like it's not looking good for San Francisco. Which is you want to start manifesting shit. I'm gonna start manifesting Kyle Shanahan and the Bears as their coach next year. Plan. So let's go with that.
Shit.
JV said, with Purdy out, why isn't Josh Dobbs the start here?
Too busy doing NASA shit, bro.
Mm-hmm. That commercial. Who did he just do that commercial for?
No idea.
Yes. Yeah, it was a backup.
I think it's just a matter of Shanahan's a control freak, and he can probably control Brandon Allen more than he can control Josh Dobbs.
I can't agree with that.
He is a control freak.
I'm not gonna. Arizona Cardinals taking out.
By the way,
Seahawks.
Dylan, don't listen to Dylan. Kyle Shanahan is not getting fired from the 49ers. If they do that, it's the worst they will ever make in their franchise history. So,
Arizona Cardinals at Seattle Seahawks. Cardinals favored by 1 in this one on the road. Game total 40.5. Ike, we'll keep the good times rolling. Let you start here. Where are you going?
It's got to be James Conner. I know that he's not the sexiest play, but in 4 straight games, he's had 14 plus fantasy points, and in 8 of his 10 games this year, he's surpassed that. Just seems to be a constant RB1, RB2 every week. You can't not start him, to be honest.
James Conner, hashtag good at football.
Yeah.
But he plays, man. He's the goods. I'll just leave it at that. Definitely locked in your lineups. Probably a borderline. We're not rankers here, but borderline top 12 guy this week. I would assume.
You should be top 15 for sure.
Yeah. I mean, we've been hitting it over the head, but it's 6 teams on bye. So yeah, it's definitely locked.
Yeah, with 6 teams on bye, yeah, he can be
in here. Mm-hmm. LaPlante, where are you going here? Who's your sweet play? Keep the good vibes here.
All right. Good vibes here is it's James Conner too, but I'll give you a little caveat so I'm not regurgitating the same information. I think you can get away with the bye weeks here, starting Trey Benson in the flex. He's been getting worked in more here over the past 2 weeks. That they've played because not last week. They didn't play last week. James Conner has had 30 rushing attempts and 8 targets, but Trey Benson has had 18 rushing attempts, averaging 5.5 yards a carry. He's got a touchdown in there too. He's got 3 targets, hasn't dropped them. And then also, week 10, he's just eaten more into the snaps here. So week 9, he had 27.6% of the snaps. And then not much of an increase, but it went to 27. So he's like increasing the snaps each week here. Guys, we know it. It's inevitable. James
Who's
Conner
that?
misses games.
Who's Joe Bond? I never heard of that guy before.
Founder of Fantasy Six Pack.
James Conner misses games. It's inevitable. He hasn't played a full season of NFL yet.
It's happening this year.
Until 2024.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I mean, but here's how they accomplish that. They lighten his workload and allow Trey Benson to get involved.
I tend to agree, man. You don't say many smart things. But
no, you're kind of stupid, but that one worked out.
You're kind of getting there here, man.
You're figuring it out.
I'm picking up what you're putting in.
A couple more years, you might be good at it.
He's laughing. He's having a good time.
Yeah.
We'll let you stick it with you, Mike. Stay with you here. Who's your sour play?
I think we already went through that. Oh no,
it was
DK.
Play.
DK against the Cardinals is not good. He averages 6.3 fantasy points per game against the Cardinals, and that's in 9 games in his career.
That's not bad.
What?
16.9 is what you said?
No, 6.3.
I thought you said 16.
I fucked up the first part, but yeah, 6.3, which is very bad for your wide receiver 2, whatever it is. I don't know what it is against Arizona. I don't know who covers him. Maybe they bracket him with Buka Baker or something. I don't know, but he struggles so bad against the Cardinals that you can't go with it.
All right. Didn't expect to hear DK out of your mouth there. LaPlante, kick it to you.
I struggled, man. I'm struggling here with who I wanted to pick as my sour play. I think I'm just gonna go out on a limb, and I don't care. Fantasy receipts catch me. Kenneth Walker, he's gonna get most of the volume here. He's usually a slam dunk play, as a back end running back one. I just don't think he's going to get it done against the Cardinals. They do get their, I believe it's either their first or second round pick. He's a D tackle back this week against the Seahawks. So that's definitely going to be a boost in the run game. And, they've actually been, fairly decent the past few weeks against the run. Where are they here? Cardinals. I can't. That's why. They didn't play last week. Cardinals here, 14th fewest points week 10 against running backs. Then week 9, we're looking at the 8th least points towards running backs. So they have had a revitalization on this run game here. I just think Kenneth Walker, he's going to get the volume, but it's just going to be like I said, that week Mixon had 2 touchdowns for 50 yards. I think it might be one of those weeks for Kenneth Walker.
Ooh, I'm looking for the banner, man, of the spicy take thing. Where is it at?
It's down at the bottom.
Found it.
He's probably going to be in that. I think it's like he'll finish in that RB 15 range, which is for what he's been on the year. That's where I think it's sour. It's hard. I thought it was hard to find a sour pick in this one.
You're muted, my friend, and you did it. I tried to unmute you, but.
Yeah, if you do it, we can't unmute you.
He struggles against 49ers. It's an easy one. It's an easy one.
You did, DK. I'm a bad host tonight. We're not on it tonight. It's
we're having fun though, man. It's a vibe tonight.
It's like the last 2 weeks of school. It feels like.
Yeah, fuck
it.
Right?
So we go to Sunday Night Football, fellas. We got the Philadelphia Eagles taking on the Los Angeles Rams. I'm actually pretty excited for this game. I think it's going to be a good one.
Why?
I like the way both these teams are playing. I like just watching the Rams, if I'm being honest with you. I like Puka. I like Cooper Kupp. I like Stafford. And the Eagles' defense, especially, not even especially, they're like Quinyon Mitchell's coming into his own as already one of the best cornerbacks in football. Cooper DeJean there as well. Jalen Carter, you guys knew how high
all the white corners. Hell yeah. One of us.
Jalen Carter, you guys know how high I was on him.
Don't forget about Reed Blankenship.
Forgot about Reed.
Jalen Carter, 2 years ago, guys. Jalen Carter played all 66 snaps on defense. That's unheard of from a defensive tackle.
By the way, did anybody see what he did to Jaden Daniels when they were in college?
Mm-mm.
He sacked him with one hand. He literally picked him up with one arm, and they called it a sack and everything. It was fantastic.
That's terrific.
He
man.
probably
He's an
reminded him
animal.
about it when they played.
Jane Daniels, all 160 pounds.
It's like I tip my hat to Howie Roseman. Like he knew, like the Eagles were so bad in the secondary last year, and how do you fix it? You build through the draft, man, and you take a high pick on Quinyon Mitchell, who I've said's been awesome. So yeah, my hat tip to them. But go ahead. Who is your sweet play here in this Eagles Rams matchup?
I'm gonna go Dallas Goedert. He gets the targets among tight ends. I know you're not super thrilled about playing anybody right now, except for maybe Brock Bowers. Other than Brock Bowers, you're super thrilled about playing tight end. So Dallas Goedert gets the targets.
No Devonta Smith. I should have mentioned that.
Yeah, so I know it's not going to be great, but I would go Dallas Goedert for my sweet pick for sure. I don't know. AJ Brown does what he does. He gets his 8 targets a game. He's not.
Hey. He's actually been getting only 6 targets a game.
Yeah, even less. So
he's been playing so well. It feels like 8 targets a game. But I mean, Barkley's more of a sweet play than AJ Brown. But I'm gonna go.
Barkley's easy though.
Oh, he's
sorry.
easy.
I had to sneeze. So I'm gonna go with a little bit less of a low hanging fruit, and that it is AJ Brown with Devontae Smith out. He is my sour player. My sweet player. Sorry. I got my things mixed up here. 11th best matchup for wide receivers. Like we said, he's only seen 6 targets realistically, but with Devontae Smith out, I fully expect in a matchup like this that AJ Brown will get double-digit targets. Mark it now.
Yeah,
that'd be the first time he did since like week 1 or 2, I believe.
That's because they don't throw the damn ball like.
Correct. Yeah, that's why Barkley's
like Jalen Hurts. Sometimes he doesn't even throw it 20 times. It may have only happened one time, but yeah, the pass attempts are just down.
AJ Brown needs a big play to be successful. Dallas Goedert needs a touchdown to be successful, and all that stuff. This offense is good, just it's not great for fantasy unless you got Jalen Hurts or Barkley. To be honest,
Barkley's been absolutely fantastic, man. That's another
reason
why to tune in.
That is wild.
AJ Brown.
But can you
absolutely no way.
Can you put Jefferson up there when he's going against the Bears?
I'd have AJ Brown over Jefferson, but number 1 is bananas.
I'm trying to think. No Jamar Chase this week.
Yeah.
I mean, who do the Lions play?
Amon-Ra St. Brown, I would take over AJ Brown any day of the week, no matter who he plays.
7 or 8 times in a row.
But it's probably between Amon-Ra and AJ.
I was going to say AJ's going to be in the top 5 this week with Devonta Smith. He might see a 35-40. He might see a 40% target share, like somewhere absurd like that for this game without Devonta Smith there.
Yeah.
Well, they need him though.
Yeah. That's where I'm a little like, hesitant on your Dallas Goedert sour pick, because I think honestly all those targets just go to AJ Brown.
Who you going here, LaPlante, for your sour play?
No, my sweet. My sour play, because I said they were mixed up. It's Matthew Stafford. It is figured out, and Matthew Stafford figured it out last week. He won't be able to figure it out this week against the Eagles. 5th toughest matchup for QBs, 6th toughest matchup for wide receivers. They've completely turned around this defense, like you said, with Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, compared to last year, where you could just throw all over them. You can't get away with that this year. And the thing is for Stafford to finish as a QB1, he needs to score 4 touchdowns or throw for 300 plus passing yards, which he has scored 4 touchdowns on the year twice and 300 passing yards once. So do the math. In a tough matchup, I just find that hard to believe. It's going to be a tough night for the Rams.
Yeah, that's why this game total surprised me with it being 48.5. They're saying and it with only being a 3-point spread, they're saying the Rams are going to be able to put up quite a bit of points on this offense. So maybe Vegas is liking a Kyron Williams touchdown. Good week.
Eagles haven't allowed 20 plus points in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games. So since their bye, which was in week 5, they have just been utterly destroying offenses. So,
guys, let's take the under on that game.
I would definitely take the under. I would not be starting Matthew Stafford, to be honest.
I mean, super flex leagues, you got no choice.
Yeah, super flex for sure.
Single QB leagues.
If you're in like 10, 12 single QB leagues, there's no way you should be starting him.
I would rather start Bo Nix over him for sure.
Yes.
Justin Herbert over him for sure.
Yep.
Geno Smith over him for sure. Sorry, I'm just trying to pull through some.
Would you start Tua over Matthew Stafford?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What about Caleb?
What about Drake May?
Caleb or Drake May? That's where we're at with.
We're not starting Caleb against Minnesota.
No,
you can't.
And I don't think we're starting Drake May either.
I think I would still start Drake May just because he offers you a rushing floor in a tough matchup. Stafford ain't rushing the ball. He ain't getting you any of those extra points on the ground.
What about Drake Sam? I'm a pumpkin Darnold.
That was a tough one because he can get you a little bit of rushing yards. So I think I would still go Sam Darnold on that one.
Stafford because he's playing the Bears. Darnold, he might struggle.
He's going to struggle.
Huh?
Was your sour play Stafford as well?
Yes.
All right, right on. We'll move on to Monday Night Football, guys. A really good matchup here. Baltimore Ravens taking on the Los Angeles Chargers. Ravens -3. Game total of 50.5. Vegas thinking some points are going to be scored in this one after the Ravens offense struggled last week against a good Steelers defense. This Chargers defense isn't no slouch either, if I may say so. Yeah, Ike, I'll kick it to you. Who do you see absolutely smashing in this Ravens and Chargers match?
I feel like this is so easy. Everybody should know this by now, but if you didn't do it by now, pick up Justin Herbert if he is anywhere available in your league. In the past 4 games, he's been a quarterback 1, which is 1 through 12. So he gets one of the best.
Thank you for telling us what a QB was.
I loved it.
Hey, you never know. He also gets one of the best defenses to perform against.
The best matchup, against the Ravens.
The best.
Ravens, it is. They're the 30s. They're the number one.
I think they're 31st, right?
Unless it changed this week.
31st to 32nd, whatever.
Yeah, they're just a pass funnel, man. The Ravens shut that shit down on the ground. Everything through this game is going to need to be through the
third, huh?
Third best matchup for QBs, number 1 best matchup for wide receivers.
Yeah, right on. LaPlay, where are you going here? Is your sweet play?
It correlates with Herbert, and I don't know if you mentioned it, but McConkey, I don't believe has had
naughty lad. Yeah, I love that guy, man.
Well, no, he's not my sweet play because the thing is he hasn't.
Fuck you.
Let me talk and stop interrupting me for once. God damn it!
I would if it was Lad, but now
if it was Lad, I would have been all in. Now you're just spewing I don't even know what you're going to talk about.
Yeah. I choose your sour play. It'll just
I can't talk.
Go ahead, Doug. We'll play it go.
Dude, McConkey has had limited practices. I believe he is still questionable if he has not been ruled to or expected to play. So my sweet play is QJ, Quentin Johnson.
Not bad.
Last week he was second. Not bad. He was second on the check tape. He was second on the team in targets last week behind McConkey, like I said, who might not play, with 8. And that was his season high for targets. And, just like Westbrook Akini, who scored 5 touchdowns in the last 6 games, Quentin Johnson has scored 3 touchdowns in 3 straight games. So let's make it 4 against a beautiful matchup, like we said. Number 1 for wide receivers.
Dude, he might actually be one of the top receivers and touchdowns right now. He has like 6, I think, or something like that. So he's up there for sure. So it's risky. I know 3 in a row is sweet, but if you want to count on 4 in a row, go for it. I would rather not.
Number 3 in all of the wide receivers in touchdowns with 6, but he is tied with 5 other people. Mike Evans, Marvin Harrison, Terry McLaurin, and Drake London.
How about that? Marvin Harrison. That's interesting.
Hey, Cooper.
He's like wide receiver 35 or whatever.
He's had boom weeks. He's had busts.
Yeah.
Ike, say hi to my son.
He'd rather drink a beer.
Hi,
What a
Cooper.
piece
How
of-
you doing, bud?
Oh man, but yeah, I'm with you guys there. LaPlante, we'll kick it to you. Who's your sour play? What do you got?
You're not going to like it. It's J.K. Dobbins. Eighth toughest matchup for running backs. Gus Edwards only had 11 snaps last week, but saw 6 touches. When we go to fantasy data, all right, they have a cool stat, touches per 100 targets. Last week, Gus Edwards averaged where are you?
My man, we're on time crunch.
Yeah, I lost it. Oh, there it is. 54.
Great,
54. I was looking at the targets and it's a flat 0 and I was getting confused because he doesn't get involved. He would get 54 touches per 100 snaps compared to J.K. Dobbins 24 last game. Basically, the extent of what I'm saying is when they're both healthy, like week 1, this was a split backfield. It's a bad matchup. You don't want to be playing split backfields against bad matchups.
Yeah. The thing that I'm thinking that could maybe save Dobbins is the passing down work. He doesn't get a lot of it, but he's the running back who's going to get enough here in this
Correct.
offense. Right. He gets enough. That's what I think might be his saving grace. I agree with you, Mike. I don't like Dobbins has been really good the last 2 out of the last 3 weeks. I think RB1 finishes. He's not going to finish there this week. I'm hoping to get 10 points out of J.K. Dobbins this week as an owner. Ike, we'll let you finish it up here, man. Who's your sour play?
You're not gonna like this one.
The dismissal?
It's the Dissel, man. It's Disley.
Come on.
I know he's got a good matchup, but in 2024, he's only been a tight end twice.
We know.
He's basically averaging on 8 fantasy points per game. He has to score to be relevant. This doesn't seem like the game for him to score.
You're living in the past, man.
I know you guys are excited to play Disley after what he did last week. It was 1 week out of 10.
Tied his best performance of the year at tight end 7.
I would leave him on the bench for many other tight ends. I would have played Njoku over him, Goddard. I would have played, obviously.
And Njoku would have
Kittle's
been
an obvious one. Even if he's
touchdown.
fucking injured with a torn calf, I'd play him over Will Disley.
Will Disley, Cole Kmet.
Cole Kmet.
I think I'd go Disley.
Dude, his only relevance was a touchdown. That's all you have to hope for. That's all you got. Jonnu Smith definitely is over.
Back-to-back weeks of 6 targets for Will Disley.
Yeah, sweet. Same with fucking the dude from
tight ends suck,
Giants.
man.
Theo Johnson has also seen 6+ targets too. He just has.
Yeah, but difference between quarterbacks throwing him the ball. That gives you more touchdowns.
If Justin Herbert's going to throw the ball 35 times this game, who's getting all those targets? You got to give 10 to Ladd. You could give 10 to QJ if you want. There's still 15 other targets here. You could give 5.
I just don't. There's no way. There's no way he gets that much. He's barely. I mean, he did see 11 at one point, but still, there's just no way I see him seeing more than 6.
Okay.
5 targets.
He's only seen double-digit targets 1 time this year.
It is a good matchup, though. So,
this is a good question from Angelo. Who would you start, Jonnu Smith or
Jonnu Smith is over Disley 100 times over.
Make it easy, man. Pump the brakes a little bit, man.
Sorry,
LaPlante. Who would have thought to get energy from Ike? It's just to talk about Will Disley just gets his blood boiling here. And Jamie's got him for 9 to 11 points, and that's what I'm asking for. Come on, give me 9 to 11 points. I'd be happy with that. That's probably tight end 6 on the week. Well, he's got him at tight end 7 with 9 points.
It could also be a combination of the 6-pack I drank before the show as well.
Very true. Very true. And we'll finish the show out with this, Michael Plant. You gave your sweet play of Quentin Johnston. who would you start, Quentin Johnston or your guy, Christian Watson, this week?
Oh, man, that hurts. I'd start Quentin Johnson. He's going to see more volume, I think, in a better matchup.
Christian Watson,
But-
Quentin Johnson. Like,
Don't diss Disley. I'm dissing him, man.
Quentin
It's Quentin Johnson.
Yeah, if I had the option of Quentin Johnson or Watson in our matchup, Dylan, I'd be going Johnson.
All right, totally.
Well, I
fair
mean,
here,
I'm
guys.
pretty sure you have the option. You could pick him up, I think, if you want. So go
I
for
don't
it.
think he's out. I don't think he's out there.
Oh, I'm sure he is.
Guys, this was a fun show. I laughed a lot. We were a little bit off the rails. I'm not sure we gave out a ton of great information, but I hope you guys surely enjoyed the show. We'll be back on Sunday for the Sunday Social. Myself and Mike will be.
I won't be.
We'll have Alan Sanders talking to his best bets. Joe Bond, who's the top 3 ranker in the industry right
Zach
now, will be
has
here giving his
Quentin
ranking.
Johnston. I can't go pick him up.
You blew it, man. You should have picked him up.
Then myself, LaPlante, and Jordan Schultz will be answering your start-sit questions from 11 to 12 Eastern time. And then we got Chris Robin, Keith Fleming coming on to talk DFS that last hour up to lock. So make sure to hit that bell for notifications so you know when we go live on Sunday. Please subscribe to the channel. Hit that like button on your way
That
out,
last
guys. I
comment's
really appreciate
fantastic. Ike starring Desmond Ritter.
it.
Do it. I
Yeah,
don't care.
yeah.
Not my
Yeah,
team.
let's roll. All right, guys. But that'll pretty much do it for Mike and Ike. I'm Dylan, and the candy shop is closed. See you next week.